This is the place.
One of the things that I love is that two films idea of your life. And there's two stories you can tell. One that is safe and full of regret, and one that is risky and full of pride and joy. This place seems to be a stepping stone across that bridge that is so scary to walk across.
What's that? Thank you, Oren. Oh, can you hear me? Thank you, Oren, and thank you to Anna and Gary and Duke and everybody here. I came last year as an attendee and was blown away, and I can't actually believe that I'm standing here. I can't believe my name is there. It's really cool. My kids would get a huge kick out of that. Yesterday, Oren told me that the pictures in this book sort of took him back to his childhood, and I think my childhood is why I take these pictures. I think it's why I'm a photographer. I had an absolutely idyllic childhood. And then when I was 8, my mom got really sick and everything sort of changed. But we all ended up okay, and it's why I'm a photographer for sure. But I'm not really going to talk about my photography today. I'm going to talk about this project I did with a neighbor of mine. And I think this is how I get started.
We slept in canvas tents on wooden platforms at night, and I could reach my hands up and poke the sides where the rain pooled. I liked that tent. I liked how the night sounds were all around me, and we were almost living in the woods. What would that be like, really, if we had to survive on our own? Liza and Kimmy and I all passed the swim test, so we could jump off the high diving board, and this helped. I missed my mom so much that I knew it was better just to swim and not talk about the missing.
So I'm taking you to Maine for a little bit. It's a little lighter than where we've been today. It's a little cooler, temperature-wise, today. And that girl today is probably in that very spot with a much older-sounding voice, because that was about 3 years ago. But I'm going to give you a little background on this book. I have always taken pictures, literally since I was 8 years old, and studied photography in college, and then sort of had a little business of my own, photography business. Ended up in New York for a long time, and got married there to somebody who was in medical school, and when he finished his internship and fellowship, we packed up our one child at the time and moved to Portland, Maine, because he got a job there. And at that point, I became I was the primary caretaker of our kids, so I stayed home. He was the breadwinner, and we quickly had 2 more kids, and I had 3 kids in diapers at the same time, and always took pictures of them, and then started to get my photography thing going again in Portland. And now that they're all grown up, the youngest is 12, the oldest is 15, I'm pretty busy there and having a good time. And one of the reasons that I've been able to do this, to get my photography going again, is because I have a neighbor who lives 2 houses away from me named Susan Conley. And she has been on a very similar track, but she's a writer. And we've lived next to each other for 14 years. She's written a few books. She has founded a nonprofit writing workshop in Portland that's just incredible. She did that about 10 years ago. I was instrumental in the childcare at that time. And what else has she done? And she teaches as well. But we have leaned on each other tremendously, or we did, especially when the kids were younger. We still do, but we really helped each other out, and it was awesome and fun and crazy and nonstop. And but it was always eating away at us that we had never actually made anything together besides these children. So every once in a while we would have a conversation, try to think of an idea. We never had a good one. It was never the right time. And then one day we were driving in the car, and I just said, I'm going to send you a picture. I'll just send you a picture from the week, and we'll see if you have any reaction to it or you want to do anything with it. And she said, sure, go ahead. So I sent her a picture that Sunday. I sat down and looked at the pictures from the week and chose one, sent it to her. It said week 1 in the subject line. And then about 4 days later, I got an email back from her that said week 1. And this is what it said. I'm sorry you can't read it. And I'm going to have to get down. Wait, here. Okay. My eyes are so bad now. This is what it said. I think the Earth from outer space is like this. Some kind of watery indigo blue. Dark lines for rivers, lighter blue for oceans. Did you know water tells the story of everything? Did you know how much there is of it? And then the green trees painted around the sea. The trees are harder. The oceans talk to me and tell me prehistoric things. The trees just whisper, not yet. So I kept sending Susan pictures. And we didn't really talk about what we were doing. I thought it might jeopardize things, but I sent her a picture every week for 2 years. And towards the end of the first year, one thing led to another. My brother, who's a designer, packaged up a book for us, and we started to think book, and we took it out and tried to sell it. And finally, we found a publisher who published it, and it came out this April. And I think I always have a hard time describing what it's about. It's not a story. It's 52 marriages of image and words. And I think they work pretty well together. I think it's about motherhood. It's about childhood. Somebody wrote a review that said it's for anyone who was ever a child, which is nice. It's about time. When I would get the writing back from Susan each week, it would literally sort of stop me in my tracks. I feel like we're so busy in our days, and we're not necessarily thinking about the really important things. And this writing would take me back to my childhood. It would take me like right back in an instant. And it would take me to moments I'd had with my kids or moments I should be having with my kids. And I loved it, so I really tried hard to get this book done. And I think the best way to really explain what it is to read some of the pages. And I've got superstar readers lined up. The first one, Oren, are you ready? Yeah. Okay. First one, we're skipping to week number 9. You have a mic?
There we go. Okay. Yeah, number 9. I speak other languages on the island. English, yes. Chinese, a little. And a dog. Bear and I take the boardwalk to the cove, and he's really old now, so I don't think he can hear me. But I whisper to him anyway, and I swear he understands. He's gentle like that. We swim, and the wind makes that high whistling sound in the trees, saying, summer, summer, summer. This is the summer of your life.
Thank you. So I think I'm going to skip this one. I don't want to go too long, so I'm going to skip this one. And I don't even know if you guys can see these pictures, but this is just a quick one. It's sort of an ode to William Carlos Williams. It's different than the rest, and it's quick and easy. So this is just to say I've eaten the black raspberries that were in the field, so tart and so sweet, and which you were probably hoping were for dessert. So the one rule that I sort of had was that the picture had to be from the week, and all the pictures had to be from Maine. Here's the next page is 16, and Katie, you're on.
Mostly, we ran up and down the boardwalk to see the mail boat come in. We didn't have a radio, so we sang pop songs out loud together on the porch. My brothers and cousins and me. The trees on the island had long, wild hair like me. This is what I remember. My mother, always my mother, and how my brother chased me in the dark on the dirt road, but stopped when I got scared.
Thank you. And Lauren has a good story to tell about this page. So if you see her, you can ask her about it later.
By the end of the summer, my mother calls me something more animal than boy. And imagine if you could talk to wolves. I mean, really talk to them. Would you give up being human? And what if they taught you their wolf language? Would you walk away from your mother and your father to live with them? Would you never come back? And once you chose, would you be gone to the people you love forever?
Thank you. So when Susan and I were looking for a title of this book, I was really thinking of it as a book about just staying present and trying to stay in the moment. And so we couldn't think of a title, and then we finally flipped through the book and found a line from the book, which is in this page. And So week 21 is, there's a graveyard down behind the house that isn't really scary. A green field with lots of old stones. Hedgehogs live there and possum. The skunks come at night, and sometimes we get crows in the trees. One crow says to the other, "Stop here, this is the place. My street, my house, my mother, father, brother. I still have to look down at my legs sometimes to make sure it's really me. And when I forget who I am completely, my mother reminds me." I think I'll skip that one. Do you want to do this one? Or I can quickly do it. Okay. Sorry. I think smell is the sense that people miss most when they lose it. Not eyesight, not hearing, not touch. I'd miss my hair most. It talks to me. It tells me my history. She doesn't cut this hair. This project had me taking pictures in the winter, which was really great because I didn't used to do that. I always had a hard time exposing the white, the snow. But it was fun to do, and this is a page that's had some nice response. What about the part where there's just me and no you? I know it's late. I know I should be asleep. But can we talk about that for a minute? Because this is the part I don't even understand. And yeah, we've gone over it before, but tonight it feels like a blizzard in my head. I'm walking for miles and miles through the snow looking for you, always looking for you. Where are you? Where are you? I can't see you. I'm getting to the end now. Let's see. So this is I just take pictures all the time. My kids, my neighbors' kids, other neighbors' kids. This is Susan's son. She wrote, "We live near the river with the tugboats and the drawbridge and the oil tankers. It's a small city. I'm 11. My age is all I have, plus your word. So don't lie to me. I can always tell when you're lying. At night, I have to keep the covers over at least half my body, even when it gets hot outside and I'm sweating. This is how I become invisible. This is how I know I'm safe." So Susan lifted a lot of these lines from her kids' mouths. Towards the end of the book, towards the end of the year, I started to think book. So I was having a really good time taking these pictures. And this is one, these two boys, they're not brothers, but they're best friends. And they're always out in the street playing with balls and sports stuff. And that's a baby. I don't know if you could see it, but it's a baby doll. And the little girl who owned it, who'd brought it over, stepped out of the frame. And I was psyched to get that picture so I could send it to Susan. And this is what she wrote. She would never write what I would think she would write, which was awesome. It's different with you, because when I'm with my brother, I can't see outside of him and me. It's like we're swimming in the same water all the time. But you're over there trying to get the baby doll to wake up so we can go tell the queen. And I don't have to say anything. We just think it the same. And maybe that's better than brothers. And the last page, it's the time of day called the gloaming, but I don't know the word for that yet, so it's just sundown when all the boys run in the street, and I feel like I'll live forever. I mean, how could I not be here? We have one street light that blinks and a long, cool crack in the tar. The boys can be stingy, and I'm mostly the only girl. When the frisbee sails down on me like a spaceship, I know I can catch it. I'm the girl in the picture. I can do this. So that's our cover, and we made 2 of these little teaser videos to try to get it out in the world, and here's the second one. The first one was my daughter's voice, and we spent about 5 hours underneath a blanket fort trying to get the audio for my brother, who's a editor, and we live near an airport, so that took forever. This one was a friend of his who's the voice of FedEx. Yeah.
Today, the ocean is blue, like a galaxy in outer space, where you swim through stars and black holes, in the force fields of moons, and it never ends. If I think too much about infinity, I have to close my eyes. Down here, the earth is chained like a little dock to the rocks. We spin and spin, and we don't ever let go.
So in our efforts to try to get this out, we've done a little bit of traveling, we've met people, we've gotten emails from people, and it's been really fun to see that it's inspired some people to sort of take some ideas off the back burner and think about them. And I just hope it maybe inspires some of you to do that, and thank you.